Hi everyone, this is Ashok Kumar, and today's topic is in FCS subject Unit 4 3 schema architecture or database schema. So, schema in database, so it is going to be defined or the structure how the data is going to be stored in the database. So, schema means a structure or a blueprint which is going to be tell us how the data is stored or the structure of the data is stored or the design which is going to be used to represent the databases in different levels of schema. So levels in the database. So here we have three different levels. So those are logical level, and next one is physical level, and next one is in external level. Sorry, external external level. So we have different three levels, and we are going to be have the three different schemas in the database. So here physical level where the lowest level, it is also called as the lowest level. So as the physical level means the physical data is going to be where existed, or the devices which are going to be stored the data in the physical level is going to be discussed in the physical level. So here the schema which is going to be used, schema for the physical level is going to be tell about how the data is stored. So it defines regarding the data is going to be stored in the database or the devices which are going to be stored the physically. So the data is going to be stored in physical level which is going to be defined by the schema. So the schema is regarding the how data stored. So here we have some structure regarding the data storing. So physically the data storing and the structure and the rules which are going to be followed in storing the data. So the physical schema is going to be deal such kind of information and develop some, it is going to not interact with other levels. So it is a less complex level. If any changes made, it is going to be reflected in the database. So no complexities are going to be erased when we are developing the physical schema, and it is not going to interact with the two other schemas. And next one is external schema, external level or external schema. So in external schema we are going to define or develop the procedure regarding the data is going to be viewed to the user. So user have different views regarding data. So the schema is going to be differed from one view to another view. So as the end user may use some different applications, based upon the application it is going to be have some different views. So the schema is going to be changed for the users in external level, but the structure or basic functionality in external level schema is to hide. As we know, it doesn't bother about the how data is stored and what operations are going to be actually performed on the data. So the data is going to be accessed from the database and viewed to the external level user. The schema also doesn't have the complexities, and it doesn't have the problem with two other schemas. So if any changes made to the schema also regarding the external level schema doesn't affect the two other schemas. And whenever and it deals with data retrieving, storing from the user, and he has the view of the data only, so no problem with the changes regarding the in this level of schema. But whereas coming to the logical level schema, so here it is a complex level of schema, and it is the one of the complex level in the database. Here it doesn't have the any physical represent regarding the data, so it is going to represent the whatever the data is from the physical level or database to the user, and make sure that what data it is going to be accessed. So what data is what so what data is going to be accessed, and the relations on the data. So as the physical level is going to deal with these two things, and we have to develop the schema regarding the physical level, and we have to make sure that if any changes in this level is going to be affect the another level, so we have to make sure that and make any changes regarding that logical schema, it is going to be reflect on the external level. So based upon that we have to develop some schema for this level. So in this level of schema is going to deal with what data is going to be stored and relations on the data. So the regarding relations are going to be maintained in logical way. So logical way means, so we doesn't have the physically connection, but we represent the data based upon the relation what is our constraint, it is going to be exist on the data. So if any changes to this level, it's going to be reflect on the physical level and external level. So the schema is a bit complex in representing the data to the user in between the physical level and external level. So it is more bit complex than the physical schema and external level of schema, and it is one of the core in the database maintenance. So the DBMS is going to be make sure that these three schemas are developed individually and doesn't affect the others. Whenever coming to the logical level, it has the better way of developing the schema, makes them more effective. And TBMS is going to provide the messaging or ref- reflect some actions whenever the users these three levels are going to be request. So the DBM allows communication between these two levels, these three levels. So whatever the message or communication is requested by these three levels is going to be operated by the DBMS, and the communication is called independence, data independence or mapping. So the communication is called mapping, not data independence. So that is called mapping. So communication is going to be called as mapping between the those levels. So for example, the external view or the information whatever is going to be viewed by the user is requesting some changes or suggesting some changes, so it is going to be passed to the logical level view or logical schema, and he makes that changes in the logical schema and reflect back to the physical and goes back to physical to and logical schema and coming back to the external schema. So the user is going to have some modification whatever he requested.